Ekta, good morning. So limited competition essentially would mean that they would have exclusivity, right? They'd be able to sell the drug for a period of time alone?
No. Limited competition means that it is limited in competition. There are not as many companies selling the drug.
Okay, there are a few, but it's not an exclusive.
No, it's not exclusive.
Okay, all right.
It means that there's the innovator, there's one more guy, and maybe Lupin, which is selling the drug in the market. So that's why it's limited competition, lesser number of companies selling the same drug.
Okay, I mean, pharma somehow, Ekta, just feels like, I mean, look at Sun Pharma, Lupin, Cipla. It almost feels like they're in a place where you take a call to either sell, get out. I mean, what are these stocks doing in a portfolio? They're not doing anything for the last year and a half. Or maybe it's a time where you double down and, double your bet. I mean, so it just feels like one of those points in time. But time will tell what happens there. So again, one of the big factors has been what happens in the US, and I mean, I just want to put out a couple of points which which are important. I mean, so if you thought that Mr. Trump is in the White House, the uncertainties behind, the event is behind, the markets will sort of breathe a sigh of relief, well, that is not the case. So starting today, Monday is the first full day of President Trump in the White House, and we've got reports like this one. Newt Gingrich, who's essentially seen as extremely close to President Trump, he said that over the next 3 days, we will have something like 200 executive orders, which are essentially going to come through. So, so this is only, of course, going to be US market time. So when you come back tomorrow morning, it's entirely possible that you have something which directly, indirectly impacts, India. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, sectors like IT, sectors like pharma. We've discussed the validity of executive orders earlier as well. I mean, they kind of start the process of undoing whatever is written in law at that point in time. It still needs to be taken through a process, but it basically essentially says that, I mean, it's got legal sanctity. I mean, let me put it that way. So, I mean, anything that 200, so, I mean, and this is spread over a period of 3 days. So I would say IT, pharma, two sectors which broadly are going to be in focus in terms of uncertainty. Just we don't know what Mr. Trump may do in one of those orders. And if something, I mean, does get done, like, for example, H-1B or any of the other things which we've spoken about, I mean, I think you're going to wake up with some red on the screen. So I think that's the real worry. There is, of course, the overarching worry as well. I mean, what will happen to portfolio flows? What will happen to FDI because of border tax kind of things? Whether specific countries will be targeted or it will be one higher import tax for all countries. So, I mean, a lot to kind of ponder over and watch very closely.
Yes, absolutely. And there was already an executive order on Obamacare, which was already signed. So that just gives you a sense in terms of the start that we're going to see.